We've got some great news.
Great new rates on new
and used car loans.
New car loans as low as 1.99%. Used car loans as low as 2.49%.
I save money.
And that's not all. We refinance trucks and RVs.
Refinance your car and save.
Refinance at Columbia Green Federal Credit Union.
And save on your payments.
You will save.
Save now.
And save money. The Coxsackie and Hudson Lending Centers.
All right, welcome back to the HV360 Gridiron Glance presented by the Columbia Green Federal Credit Union. We have Hudson coach John Davey back with us. He's one of two of the local head coaches heading to the playoffs this week.
Thanks for having me back, guys.
Always a pleasure, Coach. I want to touch first of all on the this past week's game against Chalmont. A lot riding on that game. Ryan for division title up at stake. Didn't go the way you wanted.
Oh, that's very true.
Obviously.
That's an understatement. Yeah, again, we came out flat. It's high school football. You don't know who shows up and what's happened to them all week. I thought we were prepared. As coaches, we sensed some flatness and some things. We really tried to, do some different stuff. And you can't turn the ball over 6 times and win. That's just the way it goes.
And just from the get-go, it seemed like it wasn't your night. I mean, it went to 3 and out the first possession. Then they came out, and on their second play from scrimmage, Darnell Green off tackle, 56-yard run for a touchdown. They kicked the extra point. It's 7-0. 2 minutes into the game, that had to kind of take the wind out of the sails a little bit. But the team just never seemed to be able to get it going. It was just one of them things where they scored a couple of touchdowns in the second half as well. But the turnovers, the 6 turnovers, we've talked about this off camera. You turn the ball over 6 times against anybody at any level, and it's going to be a very, very deep hole you have to dig yourself out of.
We never got ourselves really moving forward offensively either. Defensively, we struggled the first 3 or 4 series, stopping the outside stuff. Then we really kind of stepped up, started to play a little bit of defense, and then we would just get something moving on offense and we would lose the ball.
What do you tell the kids in practice this week? Because it's so hard to turn the page on a situation like that, where you come off a big game with a lot riding on it, and it was just kind of a letdown. How do you get the kids motivated to play this week when you were expecting to play maybe the 4th seeded team from the other division? Now you're the 2nd seed and playing the 3rd seeded team.
We tell them, listen, what's done is done. There's nothing we can do to control what happened. It's over. Let's forget about it. Let's move on. Let's figure out what we did wrong, and let's try to correct things and going forward. And Hudson Falls, again, like we've told them all years, we don't fall asleep on any of these teams. These teams are still one-loss teams in the other division. They play in a tough division with Schuylerville, with Glens Falls, so we don't fall asleep on anybody. We're in for a game. We've seen them on film. They look good. They're big. So we have to play our best game. And for our seniors, this will probably be their last home game.
Exactly. I mean, because it will. Again, you're the 2nd seed from the Rhineford division, and will be playing a home game, as you had hoped, against this Hudson Falls team, which finished 3rd. They're 4-3 as well. They finished 2-2 in the North Division of the conference, Class B. They do have a very, very power-oriented football team. They have some good runners. They don't throw the ball a whole lot. I know they have a kid, Skylar Russell. He's like a 210-pounder. Kind of reminds me of the Zander kid from Lansingburg. A tough kid that can run inside the tackles. He's had a good season, senior season, 542 yards rushing. They had a little mix-up with their change of pace with their quarterback situation. Caleb Condon started the year as their starter. Then he fractured an ankle or hurt an ankle, and then now he's back. But they had Riley Madison come in, who had originally started the season as a running back. He's had a pretty good season rushing the ball himself with 400 yards. How do you gear up for a team like this? They don't seem to throw the ball that well. They can run the ball. They have a power-oriented team, a big team. Is it hard to prepare for a team like this? It's some kind of one-dimensional almost?
I think it's something we've been preparing for all year.
Sure.
We do play the run pretty well. We made, like I said to you before, we made some adjustments against Chalmont, and we're able to stop the run essentially for the most part of the first half and the early part of the second half. So no, we prepare like we always prepare. Again, this running back is big. He's strong. So we'll prepare like we usually prepare.
I want to ask you about Zion Brown. That's a question you probably get asked every single week. But how's he coming along? I know he hurt himself in the knee in the Cobleskill game and has been on the shelf ever since. But I know he's been up walking around. I know he's chomping at the bit to play. What's his prognosis for this game?
We're hoping that he will practice. He'll start practice next Monday.
Okay.
So he's going to be fitted for a brace, and then he's going to start practicing with us, and hopefully we'll be playing in round 2 of the playoffs with us. So things are progressing well.
Now, we talk about the playoffs. We touched on your game with Hudson Falls. We got 3 other games going on this weekend, 2 of them going on Friday night. We've got the Cobleskill-Schuylerville game. How do you see that?
It's an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
I think that Schuylerville's run offense is going to be a little too much for Cobleskill.
Yeah.
Cobleskill plays hard. We had the coaches meeting on Sunday. We had a lot of conversations amongst us all talking about it, But yeah, if it's me, I think that Schuylerville's just got way too much offense for Cobleskill to handle.
And Cobleskill, here they are 6-1.
Right.
I mean, they had the best overall record of any team in the Rhineford division, but yet they finished third in the division. I actually want to touch on that a little bit for the folks that might not understand how that came
Quarter
about.
points.
Yeah, exactly. 4-1. You were 4-1. Shalmont 4-1. Cobleskill 4-1. Yet Shalmont gets the division title. Hudson is second, and Cobleskill third. And you want to explain?
Quarter points. Basically, there are 7 quarter points available in every game. 3 points. 1 point for each of the first 3 quarters, and then 4 points for quarter 4 of the win. And the way it washed out, Shalmont had 29 quarter points, Hudson had 28, and Cobleskill had 27, so it was 1 quarter points. So anybody beaten, or winning 1 more quarter would have tied it, or 2 more quarters would have sent it the completely different way.
I can imagine what would happen had there been a tie in using that format.
Yeah.
This makes it even more difficult.
Yeah. So Cobleskill, again, I think, not to take anything away from them because I think they're a good football team, but you know my feelings about Schuyler. Right?
I sure do. Absolutely. How about Shalmont, Broadalbin, Perth? You played Shalmont just last week. You know what they got, and I didn't see Broadalbin, Perth this year, but that should be an interesting game. Still, Shalmont's got to be the favorite now.
Shalmont's going to be, Shalmont's top. They're playing well right now.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with Coach Whipple, and he said they were playing young in the beginning of the year, and he's completely right. They sure didn't play young against us. And that's a sophomore. I think he says he has 13 sophomores on that Shalmont team.
It's a young team. Quarterback's a sophomore. Jake Sanford, the leading rusher, which you actually held in check pretty much. He had 29 carries, only had 66 yards, I believe.
Right.
But he's a tough kid.
They're right where they need to be headed into the first round of the playoffs.
And the only Saturday game in Class B, the playoffs, would be Ravenna going up to Glens Falls. Normally on paper, Ravenna-Glens Falls would be a marquee matchup. Not the case this year. Ravenna not having their best year. Just got past Ichabod Crane last week. And going to make the trek up to Glens Falls. Should be a tough one for Coach.
Go Ravenna.
Yeah, there you go. Because you would play the winner of this game. If Ravenna can upset the number 1 team in the state, Glens Falls, you would host Ravenna.
Correct. That would
but if things go the way we pretty much expect them to, Glens Falls would win, and you beat Hudson Falls, you go up there to Glens Falls next Saturday.
Next Saturday, correct.
Yep. So it should be interesting.
Yeah.
For sure.
It'll be fun.
Now, how about the Rhineford Division All-Stars? We touched on that a little bit, again, prior to our taping. A couple Hudson kids made it and did quite well. You want to fill us out?
Yeah, we had Zach Wilburn was named Rhineford Division Player of the Year, which is an honor that could have went, according to the coaches, either way between him or Willie.
Sure.
But obviously numbers-wise. Willie Walker was named first-team running back. Zion Brown was named first-team defensive line. Mason Goldstein was named first-team defensive back. And Matt Sweet was named first-team kicker.
Which is pretty impressive since Matt's played, 3 games this year for the team? And
he did really well.
Soccer standout and came on and late in the year for the football team. And
we had some second-team guys. Corey Topple was second-team defensive back. Gabe Barrientos was second-team wide receiver. Spencer Goldstein, second-team offensive line. And Cameron Krieger was second-team defensive line. Nick Bernacchi was second-team defensive line.
I got to bring up Cameron Krieger, too, and the effort he put forth in the game against Shalmont. I mean, just people look at the loss and walk away from that, but what I took away from that was Cameron Krieger played the game of his life. Incredible effort he played.
He had 11 or 12 solo tackles.
11 solos.
4 or 5 assists.
Fumble.
He just what a game.
Yep, man amongst boys that night for sure. Good player.
Hopefully he has that kind of game this week.
A couple more games like that. Absolutely. But we got more games going on this weekend, Brad.
Yeah, we do. The other playoff game we have is Chatham hosting Mechanicville, which is going to be a tough game for Chatham. They're coming off a big win over Voorheesville to get that seed above Mechanicville, even though Mechanicville is 6-1 on the season. But Chatham has some, Chatham has some good guys.
Division is. No question.
Yep. Caleb Taylor had a really good week this past week. Hayden Spock's been doing well. They have quite a few guys who can really, plug the ball away on the ground and gain some yards, get some touchdowns. But it's going to be a tough game against Mechanicville.
Again, it shows how tough the Class C division is, where you have a team like Mechanicville at 6-1 and state ranked third in their own division, and Chatham, which is a very good team in its own right, is a second seed coming out of the South, so and get to host, which will definitely go in the Panthers' favor. They always have a great turnout there, especially come playoff time. But it is going to be tough. Chatham, as we mentioned, Caleb Taylor can throw with the best of them in Class C. Have some good running backs back there, along with Hayden Spock. Some kids like Casey Skimmerhorn, a good solid line in front of them. So Chatham will give them all they can handle. But Mechanicville, boy, they're a different kind of beast. They've really played well this year, as always. It seems like every year they're like Ravenna, a perennial playoff team. Yeah. Dan Mata, their quarterback, not a big kid, but he can run and throw effectively. They have a couple other big kids. Keegan McHale, their fullback's a big kid, and a good-sized line themselves. This is a very, very good matchup, especially for a first-round playoff game, and I could see it going either way, no question about it. 6-1 Mechanicville, 5-2 Chatham. So, Coach,
interesting.
You guys go on that?
Well, we played Mechanicville. I guess it was about 3 years ago. They were really they beat us. They were pretty good. So I think I do see this as a really good matchup.
No question.
Of course, I'm a Chatham guy. So
yes, you are.
Rah, rah, rah.
Go Panthers.
And we also have 3 crossover games, so the season isn't over for everybody. Coxsackie Athens got their second win of the season this past weekend against Carroll Durham.
So
first team to shut Carroll Durham out, at least. So Justice Madaw has had a really good season in general, but last week 228 yards, 4 touchdowns, really good showing from him. And they're going to be playing at Lake George, Hadley Luzerne, 3-4 team. But the 3 wins that they have, their combined record of their opponents was 5-16.
Exactly.
Not the greatest wins that they've against, not the greatest competition, but still pretty good matchup for the Indians.
And I think what the Section 2 people try to do when it comes to the crossover games, the non-playoff teams, they try to match up the teams that have pretty similar, not only records, but similar in talent and all that, I mean, as best they can. Right. And I think they did a good job with this one. I think Coxsackie Athens and Lake George is a very good matchup on paper. The Indians have been able to move the ball very, very well and score a lot of points this year. Stopping people has been an issue at times, but I think this could be another one of those high-scoring affairs. And I think this time of the year, too, with the playoffs out of reach now, and we're into the crossover season, I think teams kind of tend to let it all hang out. You know, they try different things, have kids, in different positions, and just throw caution to the wind. I think that's what you're going to see from CA this week. I think you're going to see Mike Constantino, who's one of the top passers in Section 2 this year, statistically speaking, have a real big game. And Justice Madaw, who's an outstanding receiver and a running back as well. I think you're going to see them light up scoreboard this week.
Right, then we also have Taconic Hills going to Corinth. Taconic Hills 1-6.
Yep.
Corinth 0-7. But like I said, Corinth has played quite a few good games against good competition.
Yeah, no question. Last week they played in the actual Class C South Division champion Ward of Lee in a non-division game, and took them to overtime before losing 38-36. They actually scored in overtime, but they missed a 2-point conversion. Otherwise, they would have went to another overtime. So you really can't look past Corinth, even though they're 0-7. Right. Tomahawks, love that nickname as well. The Titans, on the other hand, Shane Bradway is back and playing better than ever. He had a big game last week, had a big game the week before, and I think he's going to have a big game this week as well. So another one of those pick 'em games that I think is 2 evenly matched teams that could go either way.
Yeah, and then finally we have 2 teams that have yet to post a win, but somebody has to. Ichabod is going to Carroll Durham, both of them 0-7 this year. Ichabod had a really good game this past weekend, almost beat Ravenna. Right. Should have beat Ravenna.
They were ahead 27-12.
Right, and ended up losing 28-27.
Yep.
Carroll Durham shut out for the first time against Coxsackie. Rough season for them. Rough season for both teams. But both teams have been starting to put some points on the board, especially Ichabod. Last 3 games, I think they finally started to move the ball, started to get in the end zone.
And another one of those end-of-the-season type matchups
Right.
that you love to see with two teams that haven't been able to put forth a win yet, but both teams have talent, and now we'll see this all come to fruition, all their hard work. I'm telling you, Ichabod Crane have been beating their drum all year.
Yeah.
I mean, they are a much improved team. They have a lot of talent on that team. Just too many holes, it seems. And they play some really stiff competitions. Coach could tell you.
Quarterback is back as well,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. Austin Walsh, he's a sophomore.
No, I think the other kid was back from the. I can't remember his name. Coach Kale told me that the quarterback that has taken back over the Walsh kid was not. He didn't play that's the kid. Yes,
Yeah,
Peyton.
Oh, right.
He's back,
That's
yeah.
right. But I'll tell you, Austin Walsh
yeah.
has played a tremendous season. I mean, he really has as a sophomore, and I like that kid at quarterback. I think they've got a, definitely a lot of talent there.
There's a talent pool there. There's a lot of potential.
Yep.
Right there. I was talking to the coach over at the coaches meeting, and they're definitely moving in the right direction. I think I'm going to go out and watch that game just to. You heard it here first. Ichabod gets their first win.
Okay, I'm with you on that one. And again, that's not to knock Carroll Durham, which has played.
No.
Again, a lot of kids, a lot of underclassmen, but you know what?
Yeah.
They're learning. They'll take their lumps now, and hopefully put that going forward to good use, and they'll be laying out some lumps in the future. If they stay together and bring some more talent in as the kids progress and the kids move through the grades. Hopefully they'll be.
Hopefully they stick with it. It's
Winning
tough
definitely helps.
seasons.
Definitely.
Win a couple
Success.
of games, that definitely helps people come into the program.
Exactly. So, we got Hudson Falls this week, Coach. Again, in conclusion, you want to lay out a prediction yourself here?
No,
I didn't think so.
we're going to win by 6 scores.
Okay,
That's my prediction.
Okay, well, then
No,
we'll
listen,
write that
I firmly believe that we got this at hand. We're going to do well. Kids are ready. The kids are playing so much better practice. The first couple of days has been just, heads above what we had last week. Everybody's fired up, so I think you're going to see the old Hudson guys and, what we saw in the weeks prior.
That's right. Go Hawks. Certainly wish you all the luck in the world.
Yeah, good luck, Coach. Appreciate it. All right, thanks for stopping by and watching, and we'll see you next week. And again, we're presented by the Columbia Green Federal Credit Union.